and then I saw a roadman holding a baguette. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Hello and welcome back to Radio Rufus, the most flamboyant, elegant and outrageous piece of serialized media ever put onto the airwaves. Every week we bring you the latest, greatest, hottest, fresh off the presses, so hot it will burn your finger just if you look at it. Headlines, news, sports and games from around the world. As always, I, Rufus Rice, am joined by my stunningly beautiful, would look good in drag producer Aidan. Say hello.
Hello.
And some of the scoops might not be quite as fresh as you'd imagine, because as always, we are luxuriating in the elegant beauty of our 1960s era radio station, harking back to a better time when people smoked indoors and drank at work. Here's what's coming up then. These are the headlines. A Japanese porn star has drowned in semen whilst filming a bukkake scene. A fast food customer has pulled a gun on an employee trying to give him a discount. A truck crash spilt live salmon into the wrong river. And the ringleader of a global monkey torture network has been charged. Right, let's get into it then with not news on our first story. A Japanese porn star has drowned in semen whilst filming a bukkake scene. Tragic news then from Tokyo. A 23-year-old adult actress who remains unnamed due to fairly strict Japanese laws, and they don't fuck around, died after drowning in semen at a studio in Tokyo's Shinjuku district this week. She was filming a bukkake scene involving 30 male actors. If you don't know what bukkake is, don't lie to yourself or us, but if you actually don't know what it is, it's a form of pornography, basically, in which one woman is repeatedly ejaculated on by a string of men, basically. It's like, it's a jizz conveyor belt, basically.
Maybe next week's Gimme Schumer.
Yeah, jizz conveyor belt. the horrifying sequel to Sodium Carousel.
Jizz Carousel is a nice ring to it, to be fair.
I like Jizz Carousel. Well, so you say an answer and then you have to do a shot of spunk. To be fair, we've probably got enough blokes in the office.
Yeah,
I reckon.
We're like 30 strong now, so we could recreate this woman, just hopefully without the drowning.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm up for that. Do you think we'll be the first podcast to ever do that?
I think there's a
Might have
fair
broken
shout.
some boundaries.
Yeah.
There are some podcasts, though, where they do, they interview and shag is the format, which has always struck me as a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, if I was talking to you now, knowing that I was going to have to bum you in sort of 45 minutes time, I feel like I'd be a different approach. Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think I could relax totally.
The conversation would definitely go down a very, very different path.
It would be weird. Unfortunately, during the filming of this scene, the Japanese actress began to choke on the semen, according to witnesses. The camera crew stated that they thought she was actually just acting, when she was in fact genuinely unable to breathe. And little joke here, first joke of the show, she had swallowed loads.
Loads of loads.
Yeah, loads of loads. It's good stuff. So the headline is a little bit misleading, because it says drowns in semen, this headline.
Yeah.
And that worried me at the beginning, because I was like, how much semen are we talking? Because you have to drink, 200 litres of water in a day to drown or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like gallons and gallons and gallons of it.
I just pictured her in like a pool of cum and someone like holding her head under whenever I saw the word drown, but in reality she's
like
choked
an intentional drowning.
Yeah.
I thought it was sort of an accidental drowning, and I was imagining someone sort of flopping about in the sea, but it's all spunk. Basically, I just don't know how you would drown on it. So choking is the accurate verb.
Yeah, that's really what happened.
Blocked the windpipe. So she didn't overflow the lungs with spunk, which is what happens when you actually drown.
Can you imagine the bottle you have to do that in front of 29 other men, though? Like, I get stage fright at the urinal at times.
Oh, right. I was confused what you were on about there.
I was not about the choking. I was on about the...
Nothing.
Yeah. And also,
I would find it tough with another bloke just in the room.
Yeah, is this gay? Because if there's 30 men and only one woman, the majority of the time you're just standing there pulling yourself off with a group of men, trying to keep yourself hard for whenever it's your turn again. So is this kind of gay?
It's definitely camp.
Yeah.
I'm not... Yeah. I don't know. I always think about that. I don't want to get too salacious here, but in various male, female format threesomes, I always think, I don't know, the proximity is a bit too much for me.
See, whenever Like, I've seen that before.
It's a close shave.
Whenever you see, like, initially there's no contact or something, but after, like, if you're recording for an hour or two, you and the fella that's also in this fucking male female threesome, these are boys at that stage. I saw a clip where initially it was just like, I think there was a tweet about it where the two men were like really against it beforehand, and then halfway through he slipped out and the other man put him back in. Can you imagine that? It's just meant to be like somewhat like you're not there for each other, and then some other man's grabbing your cock and inserting it inside a woman.
I'm generally against threesomes. I'm against threesomes in general, really.
Yeah.
But especially that way round.
I feel like I just feel left out.
Yeah?
Yeah. And get sad, probably. I'd be like...
Well, I just genuinely can't focus on that many things at once.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I'm in the sack, my mind is occupied. I don't have mental capacity to think about other stuff. I've heard that girls, like, think about other things while shagging. I can't do that. I'm focused on the job, and that's what fills the brain. So there's no way I could do two.
Yeah, that'll be a lot. You're working overtime there.
You're working overtime for no extra pay. So she collapsed on the set. The camera operator said the male actors panicked afterward, but fortunately, one of them was a skilled emergency medical responder before he became a porn star. Just want to say, crazy career path there. Yeah. That's like Choupo-Moting getting relegated with Stoke and then starting in the Champions League for Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Just like, how'd you get here, bro? That is mental. So he's an emergency responder. Like, I know those jobs are tough.
Mm. Maybe he just wanted to relax after.
Oh, do you think he's double shifting?
Yeah, he's just retired.
Okay, cool. Also, crazy roller coaster of emotions for the boys. Mm. Straight from a nut to death on set.
You're
it's
probably
just an unbelievable whirlwind.
You're probably still standing there with a hard on,
or at least you know the sort of the post bus semi.
Yeah,
it's working its way down.
Yeah, it's definitely it's
coming down the flagpole for sure. Yeah.
There's still some sort of life in it, but
yeah.
It's just an awkward fucking thought to be standing
I think
there.
this is a boner killer for me.
Yeah, you'd like to think
the
so.
death of a person.
The one fucker there that slowly goes back up.
He's into this. Yeah.
You're like, we're not filming with him anymore.
Straight back at full mark. Yeah,
he's ready to go again.
The director said, and he's talking about the emergency responder here. Mm-hmm. He tried to scoop as much of the semen out before starting mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, but it was too late. There was nothing anyone could have done. Can I say in that situation, I'm not doing mouth-to-mouth.
Yeah. It wouldn't matter if I was amongst the most skilled at CPR in the world. If you have a mouthful of 30 men's jizz,
I'm not having a cocktail of 30 different men's jizz.
Yeah.
That's so disgusting.
At least he was able to put himself in her shoes for a second. It's
I hate the phrasing, try to scoop as much of it out like it's an ice cream parlour. Like how much are we talking here? That makes me feel like it's a lot.
One scoop can cover the full
like
parameter of a mouth, you would like to think.
That is so grim. So maybe it is more like drowning than I thought, because that feels like a lot if you've got a scoop.
Yeah. It's just it's so much cum. Surely it'll be getting in her eyes as well.
The incident is believed to be the first bukkake-related fatality on record. I'm actually surprised by that.
Yeah.
This is dangerous stuff, man. And they've been doing it. I mean, bukkake, it doesn't seem like a new thing to me. I can imagine a sort of the old emperors sort of doing this sort of thing. I don't know if that's offensive.
Thought about this.
I don't know if that's offensive to Japanese people or not, but they have quite a storied history of perverted sexual acts taking place, throughout their literature in the past. So,
do you think this is?
I'm sure there was like a girl like dropping like a fly in 1387.
Yeah. After
a village bukkake.
Do you think this is like a mainly Asian thing?
What, bukkake?
Yeah.
The name would suggest it.
Yeah, but you see it. I don't know. Is this happening in fucking London?
I'm sure there's someone having a bukkake in London right now, if that's what you're asking.
Interesting.
Which is a rogue move for 2:05 on a Friday. getting the weekend started early, kicking it off with a bang. But yeah, it definitely originated in Japan. An expert said this could definitely have major implications for the JAV industry. That stands for Japan Adult Video. If the authorities demand a ban on bukkake, which is quite likely in the aftermath of this tragedy, then it could really have an impact on industry revenue. How popular is this shit? Like, that, it's a niche category, right? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
What do you mean it could have a serious impact on industry revenue?
I wouldn't.
There must be more bukkake going on than I realised.
Yeah. I suppose if you've got 31 people, that's a lot of people to pay.
Must be paying the bills.
Yeah. So they need to be making some amount of revenue to.
Yeah, it's like when there's podcasts and there's 2 hosts.
Yeah.
And I think they've got to split the money though.
Yeah.
That's why I always fly El Solo Lobo.
It's a smart move.
That's why if I start my OnlyFans, it would just be me, I think. Just sort of like showing off my bumhole, I guess. That's what people do on OnlyFans, right?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. I wouldn't want a sort of partner taking the cut, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a ruthless businessman. Experts now say it's likely tougher regulation and safety measures will occur in the aftermath of this incident. Just wondering, who are the experts?
Yeah, it's a good question.
How are you becoming an expert in this? You sick fuck.
You're just a pervert.
Yeah. Well, so are they experts in bukkake? Are they experts in format of video? Are they experts in? I guess they're lawyers.
How many
probably.
How many bukkake videos do you have to watch before you're deemed an expert?
Are you wondering where you stand?
Yeah, I just want to see what to aim towards for the rest of the month.
It's like karate. You work your way up through the belts.
Different belts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start out with the white belt.
What's the next one up? Is it black?
All I know is I really don't want the brown belt. That'd be the worst.
Yeah.
For any people wondering if that's racial, no, it's a poo joke.
You did need to clear that up.
Just to clarify. If you could drown in any liquid, what would you like? Calippo juice?
Fuck Calippos. Maybe.
Before last week, you might have said Calippo juice.
Yeah, just up until that fucking warm sludge that you served me. I think maybe chocolate, because the first few minutes would be great. You'd be like, you know what, this actually isn't bad, especially if it's a nice like Kinder chocolate or something. But I just think it would be pretty cool if once the chocolate hardened and you were removed from the pool of chocolate, you just look like, you know, like those chocolate Santas you get at Christmas.
Okay, yeah.
Like a life-size version of that.
Yeah.
And that's how you're like buried. Or
So you want to basically dive in a chocolate fountain, sort of flap about in it like Prime Augustus Gloop.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually do want to swim in the chocolate river from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, just for a bit, yeah.
And then sort of die, be taken out of the river, and the chocolate just hardens, and that's your sort of
and someone can like
coffin.
break a bit of me off and eat, like, you know, like a fucking Kinder egg.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, there's definitely some logistical difficulties with that.
I don't know, this is my dream, just let it be.
What about like lager?
I feel like that's like the lad's choice.
Yeah,
I actually saw, whenever I googled this, I saw that someone did in London in like the 1800s, one of the things burst and some fella next to it, it was dubbed the lager tsunami, and he just drowned in fucking beer.
Oh really?
For certain people that's their dream, not for me.
You know what would be the worst, I think? Maybe not the worst, but ketchup would be pretty bad.
Ah, yeah.
That would be nasty.
Fuck that. I would burn too.
That gravy wrestling we watched the other week, that would be pretty rough. Actually, no, gravy would be alright. At least it's not too thick.
Oil or something would be the worst.
Oil?
Yeah.
Well, like petrol.
Well, yeah, that
happens all the time.
Like fucking cooking oil.
Yeah.
Especially if it's hot. That's just...
Oh, you just getting fried. You just getting deep fried masters.
Yeah, maybe chocolate, just because I think it would be pretty cool to just look like one of those life-size fucking Santas.
Oh, you know what I'd like? Lucozade Orange. Oh, that's what I'd like to drown in.
I go for Lucozade Original myself. But it's also very sticky. It'll be a very sticky
You just said
experience.
chocolate, mate.
Yeah, but... Yeah, chocolate's not as sticky as Lucozade, though.
Okay, well, you can write in and tell us what do you think is more sticky, chocolate or Lucozade, and we'll get the results in for next week.
If this segment ever makes it to air.
This boring segment never makes it to air. So that's the bukkake story, and I think we just about covered it. Next, our fast food customer has pulled a gun on an employee trying to give him a discount. Love this story. I'll give you one guess as to where this happened.
Hardly America, was it?
Ah, yeah, it was America, surprisingly. This is funny, it's one of those things that can only happen in sort of America or Iraq. There aren't loads of stuff. There isn't loads of stuff.
It's
like
not happening in like a McDonald's drive-through down the road.
No. A Burger King customer in Willowick, Ohio, was caught on camera pointing a gun at a drive-thru employee who was trying to give him a discount. The incident happened Sunday morning at around 9 a.m. That's a really rough start to the shift. Clocking into Burger King, you're already depressed. You don't want to be there. You get a gun pulled on you first order, and it's like, oh god, man.
I think that'll be enough for me to hand him a notice.
I'm going straight to Wendy's down the road.
Yeah, no fucking about it. I wouldn't be returning for another shift.
No fucking way. It's bad enough just working there.
Yeah.
Like, isn't there just regularly have to clean up sick and stuff? That's basically what it's like.
There's jobs like that are shit enough alone without the threat of death. This is one of them.
Mostly, isn't Burger King food mostly pubes? Pubes and rats.
Yeah, that's majority of what it's made up with.
Yeah.
You never see them.
Thank you to Burger King for sponsoring this episode of the Radio Rufus.
That's one brand deal we're definitely not getting.
Oh, unlucky. I don't like Burger King. And you know it's bad because it's always located in places where there's no other options.
Yeah, literally just airports. You never see a Burger
random
King.
Spanish airports and service stations in the middle of nowhere.
Fucking disgusting.
And that's the only way they make any money. Anyway, this guy was working at Burger King. The suspect can be seen on surveillance video getting out of his car and pointing a gun at the 38-year-old Howard Vernon, who was working in the drive-thru. Vernon said he was taking the customer's order: 2 sausage, egg and cheese croissants, a sausage biscuit and hash browns. And the order comes out to around $8. Very cheap.
That is very reasonable.
Suspiciously cheap.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Makes me want to hold this guy at gunpoint and ask him why it's so cheap. I think. I want to get some answers.
That's
also,
a logical response.
That's a fuckload of breakfast.
What the fuck is a sausage biscuit though? I'm not dipping that in my tea.
Yeah, it's not like a sort of hobnob thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not that. It's like an English. It's a bit like a scone or an English muffin. That's the bread, and then the sausage thing in the middle.
So it's just like a sausage sandwich, basically.
Yeah, it's basically a sausage sarnie, but they call it a biscuit. And in America, they eat it with white gravy.
Another question: what the fuck is white gravy?
Yeah. Dunno. Suspiciously white.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened in our first story.
Maybe we should talk about liquids to drown in again. Now discovered this.
Right. Also, yeah, that's a fuck ton of breakfast. That's average American's breakfast.
Yeah.
There. No, I wouldn't expect anything less. The customer said, "My order can't be right. It should be like $11. I agree. It should be around $11. That's not enough money for that." And I'm like trying to explain to him that we have a promotion going on and it's cheaper. And he started cussing and getting all loud. And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why you want to pay more money." I have a confession. I was at a bar the other day. I ordered some drinks. Mm-hmm. The guy forgot to take the payment. And I just walked away.
Yeah.
And I'm not proud of it. But fuck, it felt quite good.
Is it a case where you realised whilst you were still at the bar?
Yes.
Or yeah. So you knew you had every opportunity?
I'm very guilty.
Yeah. It's happened to me before where maybe I've walked away and took half the drink. Then I've been like, wait, did I pay? At that stage, I don't think I'm going back.
No.
But whenever you realise still at the bar, your fate's still very much in your hands, what you do.
Oh yeah, it wasn't an accidental shoplift.
Yeah.
But it was an expensive place. And he's getting paid the same.
Yeah, they didn't need the money.
They don't need the money. So, sorry to that bar in Stockholm.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I nicked your booze. But those prices were ludicrous anyway, so I feel quite good about it. I'm sticking it to the man. That's what that is.
The first event I went to over here whenever I moved to London, it was like a Spotify thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise there's a free bar. I remember saying to my girlfriend, like, maybe only have one. And I went up to the bar, ordered one like double vodka, and I was standing there with my card like a fucking dick. And then one of the bar women came over and gave me a real dirty look, and I was like, literally just trying to pay. And then she was like, it's a free bar. And I was like, right, in that case, I'll have 12.
Did you actually get 12?
I was there from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and I left
a proper
fucking
session.
steaming.
Yeah, lovely. Mate, there's nothing better than a free bar. Yeah, it's like having a luxurious shit in a disabled toilet. and there's just loads of room, and you just sort of it feels like you have the world at your fingertips. The free bar is exactly the same. Vernon said after the argument the customer sped off, but a minute later he pulled back around to the drive-through window as Vernon was helping another customer. That's when he pulled out the gun. The man threatened to kill him and called him a racial slur. Vernon had not been back to work at Burger King since the incident, but said he plans to return. What are you doing?
He shouldn't have that much loyalty to the company. Like, I'd be long gone.
I'd be long gone. At the end of the day, it was about some bread and sausage sandwiches at 9 o'clock in the morning on Easter. And you're mad that you put a gun in somebody's face? Vernon said, I don't know why people are so angry out here at 9 o'clock in the morning.
This boy's pretty reasonable.
Right, he's taken this very well. I would have escaped town, I think. After over a man wanting to pay $3 more.
Surely, though, if you can see he's getting agitated, just be like, right, you know what? It's £12 actually. It's $12.
Yeah,
just get him out of the fucking way. Yeah,
is that what you wanted? It's 100. It's 100.
That seems to be the only thing that might have made this man happy with the morning.
So the man in the video was driving a grey sedan and has a grey trackies on. So if you know that bloke who lives in where the fuck in Ohio this is, you can text us. We want to get in on this. We want to solve this case. So just call 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. Right. Our next story. A truck crash has spilt live salmon into the wrong river. A truck carrying 102,000 live salmon.
It's a lot of salmon.
A lot of salmon. I'm surprised that can fit in one truck. In the US state of Oregon, crashed into a creek bed last week. The young Chinook salmon were being taken from the Looking Glass hatchery in the state's north to the Imnaha River, where they are listed as threatened. But the crash caused some 77,000 fish to splash into the Looking Glass Creek, boosting the population of that waterway instead. Wildlife officials said on Tuesday that the driver lost control around a tight turn, causing the fish tanker to roll down a rocky embankment. The driver sustained minor injuries. If you want to get the photo up of this crash, I mean, he's bloody it's upside down. It's upside down. It looks like a GTA crash.
It does. The whole fucking truck is completely mangled.
Yeah. How is he fine? Obviously, if you were Franklin, you'd been walking away no problem from that thing. But a normal human, I thought he'd,
yeah,
he'd broken something at least. But apparently he's absolutely fine. Whilst thousands of fish made it into the water, many more were left stranded on the bank. Over 25,000 of the salmon smolts, that's fish that are around 2 years old, died on the creek bank. That's got to be brutal. Like, you can taste the victory there.
Yeah. Surely, imagine being the one seeing like your friends sort of get that last flop into the river and you're just lying there like, fuck,
it's just nothing you can do.
You just inadvertently caused like a fish genocide.
Yeah.
That's 25. That's a lot of fucking fish to be murdering.
It's like when everybody drank the Kool-Aid. Do you know the Jonestown Massacre?
I don't.
It was a cult, and they'd been sort of persecuted in America. Right. For good reason, because they were nuts. And they built a special town out in the rainforest in Guyana, in South America.
Mm.
And then one day the leader, it was called Jonestown, named after James Jones or whatever his name was. And one day he basically just got everybody, including himself, to drink some poisoned Kool-Aid.
Wiped out the whole place?
Wiped out the whole place, hundreds of people.
Fucking hell.
And the footage from that, I was sort of visualising that when I was thinking about 25,000 fish on a riverbed.
This is bound to be huge in the fish world. This is maybe like their 9/11.
Yeah, for salmon.
Yeah.
What would you say is your personal 9/11? Is there a moment? Because I was born after 9/11, so that can't be my 9/11.
Yeah. Like a moment you remember where you were at.
Yeah.
Whenever Uncle Phil from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air died, that hit me hard whenever I was like 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's probably my 9/11.
I look back at it now. The thing is, mine wasn't sad in the moment, but I look back at it now and I was like, oh, that was a pretty terrible thing, actually. Which was when Prince Andrew came to visit our school, like before.
Yeah.
And like everyone just... we literally made a parade and went like that for him.
Oh.
When you look back, that's sort of my 9/11.
Yeah. I'd say that's a lot of children your year's 9/11.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to go for a sleepover around his gaff, would you? Anyway, the Nez Perce tribe and the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation also responded and helped by collecting and scanning transponders on the dead fish. I wouldn't be doing that, mate. If I'm driving past that, I'm picking up dinner for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna have sushi packed lunches for weeks.
A bit of teriyaki salmon, and some smoked salmon scrambled eggs. Mate, I'll be set for life. Those are good salmon out in Oregon as well. So you'd be set for weeks. My freezer would just be full of this.
You would.
Yeah.
And there'd be nothing wrong with them if you get them fresh.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would rather that than just be fucking rotten on a riverbank.
Absolutely. At least they're serving a purpose.
I don't think there'll be a job for this truck driver come Monday morning, though.
You think his
I think
job
like
might be at risk?
his lorry driving days is over. Especially like he was tasked with helping transport an already threatened species of fish to a new home, and they ended up just offing like a quarter of them.
I'd like to see him in Formula One, though. I think he could provide some entertainment. This guy. I always think that about sports, is they should have one stinker. Like, on every football team, you have to have one person randomly selected from the audience.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool, actually.
So, like, and everyone else is obviously absolutely world class, but one random position, and then one random person from each audience for each team.
Yeah.
And it's same in Formula One. I'd like to have, like, one random attendee in the race.
Yeah, just
on Sunday.
in like a Peugeot.
No, well, just like put him in the F1 car.
Right.
But I just want to see
How it gets on.
how he gets on. Yeah, I think that would be great. Obviously, he's not even going to be able to get the thing off the line. It's going to be a huge safety hazard and probably many fatalities caused by it. But I think it would be good for the entertainment of the sport.
Maybe something to pitch to Sky Sports.
Yeah, it's like when a goalie scores a goal, and it's so unbelievable. It's like because he does. That's not what he's there to do.
Everyone loses their shit for like a
I'd
week.
just love to see someone sort of like specky uncle score a screamer.
Yeah. That would be class.
In the Prem. That'd be awesome. The ringleader of a global monkey torture network, the Torture King, is charged. Michael McCartney, 50 years of age from, no surprises, America, who went by the alias the Torture King, was faced with charges of conspiracy to create and distribute animal crushing videos. That's a new phrase for me. I've literally never seen words in that order before. McCartney was one of 3 central distributors identified by the BBC during a year-long investigation into, quote, sadistic monkey torture groups.
Another thing I had no idea existed.
Yeah. Hey, imagine training to be a journalist and then you get assigned that when they hand the stories out. And you have to spend a year watching monkeys get mangled.
That is fucking
It's
rough.
terrible. Think, wow, I've achieved a degree in journalism. I'm going into a prestigious institution like the BBC. Maybe I'll get on telly. And you have to spend your whole time watching this sort of crap. Honestly, I'd rather literally be the designated Prince Harry reporter.
Yeah, at least with the Royals, you wouldn't be covering anything morally reprehensible.
No, it's they're upstanding people and pillars of our community.
See, as well, I love the fact that it's a very discreet nickname. Like he's being deemed the Torture King. I'm not sure how that would ever arouse suspicion from the authorities.
Yeah, I already don't like. It gives me sort of Lion King, not Lion King, Tiger King. Lion King's a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really hope there isn't a sort of like lion equivalent of this.
I don't think lions are too easily tortured.
Yeah, to be fair, they fight the shit out of you. Yeah. Tiger. It gives me sort of Tiger King vibes, but even worse somehow.
Yeah.
And I already hate that guy. McCartney ran several chat groups for monkey torture enthusiasts on Telegram. There's a lot of new terminology being thrown around today. The groups were used to brainstorm ideas for custom torture videos, such as setting monkeys on fire, injuring them with tools, and even putting one in a blender. Just a quick technical question. How'd you get a monkey in a blender? Aren't they way bigger than that?
Yeah. I also imagine out of all animals, a monkey would be quite scrappy. Like, it would be hard to get into, unless you roofied them or something. And just sort of fucking stuffed it in.
I'm not putting anything past this guy anymore.
Yeah.
He could be up to some stuff. But yeah, I'm just wondering about the logistics of that. I'm not interested in finding out.
Yeah.
But can you actually get a monkey in a blender? I'm sort of thinking of those sort of monkeys with the massive arms from Madagascar.
Yeah, they're real long
Phil
looking
and
things.
the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless it's like I'm assuming maybe it's a baby monkey.
That's even more upsetting.
Yeah. Or else he just is a really big blender.
I just want to make an official Radio Rufus statement. We stand with the monkeys, don't put them in blenders. So they would brainstorm these ideas in a group chat and then send, along with payments, these out to video makers in Indonesia who carried them out. That doesn't surprise me in Indonesia because I used to live there and there are a fuckload of monkeys. So, because it's going to be tough. I don't imagine the US is crawling with millions of monkeys. But in Indonesia, there are. I mean,
of them.
Oh, there might be too many, and I'm not. and as I said, don't put monkeys in blenders. But there are a lot, and they are quite annoying. That's all I'm going to say. But don't do that. Don't set monkeys on fire. Yeah. Okay. Right.
I see he was described as a former motorcycle gang member who previously spent time in prison, so lovely character reference from him. I'm sure that'll stand him well at his trial.
Yeah, it looked good on his CV.
Next to the monkey burning.
Yeah. Mr. McCartney confessed to his role in the torture network, describing himself as the king of this demented world. I was the man, he said. You want to see monkeys get messed up? I could bring it to you. He's way too proud of this.
Yeah.
Right, just a quick message for you, Michael. You don't want to be the man. I'm afraid. It's just not a flex.
Yeah. Not in that world.
Yeah. It's like a guy, he said to me once at school that he had the most mobile and pliable hamstrings.
Was that his flex?
It's just not a flex. It's exactly the same here. Mr. McCartney also describes the moment he joined his first Telegram monkey group. They had a poll set up, he said. Do you want a hammer involved? Do you want pliers involved? Do you want a screwdriver? That's the most mental game of 20 questions I've ever heard. So you see those people who gave that goat cocaine once?
Yeah. You'd want to make it OD.
Oh no, I just want to give it like a bump.
And then what?
Just see if it goes mental.
Yeah, but you know. Oh, so you're torching it without the goal of killing it?
I don't really want to torture it, to be honest. I sort of want to just take it on a night out.
Yeah, like
So
hangover.
get it pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the hangover.
Maybe just get it completely baked and see how a monkey reacts.
Stoned monkey.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
What
Plenty of
about
them.
what if you gave a sloth cocaine? Because obviously they're famously lazy, but surely that would perk them up a bit.
I think if you give a sloth cocaine, they would rule the fucking jungle.
Do you think they'd be king of the swingers?
Yeah, they would be.
Absolutely.
Did you ever see the size sloths used to be?
That's what they should do for the Jungle Book sequel. It's Jungle Book, but they're all on bag. They're all just out of their minds. Although, like, I think that. I want to be like you. That monkey guy.
Yeah.
King Louis?
I have no idea.
I think he's on it already. Matt, you know what I'm talking about.
King Julian definitely is.
King Julian loves bag.
Yeah, King Julian loves it.
King Julian, like, grows bag in that jungle. That's what he's up to in Madagascar.
It would make sense as to why he was out there in the first place.
Well, also, he's a lemur.
Yeah. All the other fuckers came from like New York, didn't they? He was a native of Madagascar.
He's the OG. He was the kingpin. He's basically the Escobar of cinema, really.
Yeah.
So, I hope that you enjoyed that story. Next up, Snatch of the Day sports segment now. The Paris Olympics. We're back in Paris. A lot of Paris chat in the sports news recently, but this, you know, it's such a big story. We have to talk about it. The Paris Olympics has lifted its intimacy ban for athletes and is stocking up on 300,000 condoms. The Tokyo Olympics, the last Olympics in 2021, had a no shag policy in place due to COVID.
Yeah.
But also I think just sort of, well, I was going to say sort of, you know, Japanese politeness, but given our other stories today, I'm not sure if I can actually make that claim.
Yeah.
Anyway, no such dry knob laws will be enforced in Paris, officials stated on Monday. They will be stocking the Olympic Village with 300,000 condoms. In an interview about the upcoming games, village director Laurent Michaud said they are preparing for 14,250 residents and are aiming to have 300,000 condoms for the athletes at the village. That's crazy.
Yeah. If you had a few of them for that Japanese story earlier, she might have survived.
Yeah, would have been all right. It's a horrible allocation of resources. It's extremely inefficient.
Have you done any calculations on how much this is to a man? Or?
I've pulled them up on the maths here. I do like to do it. 14,250 residents of the village.
Yeah.
Half of those are going to be men. So we'll start with that. That's 7,125 blokes. 300,000 condoms in total. So condoms per bloke, which is a new statistic. 42 Johnnies per bloke. The Olympics are only 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So 42 divided by 14. That's 3 shags per person per day. So if we take out people who are in like committed relationships back home and stuff, that's insane numbers.
If you also, with all the training they have to do as well, on top of that, you'd be fucking knackered. Half them aren't getting used. And also, there might be some athletes that prefer, a bit of raw dogging.
Bareback.
So again, there might have been a slight miscalculation with these condoms.
I think you know who was definitely going bareback.
Who's that?
Usain.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
100%.
He doesn't even know what a condom looks like.
That's how he got that fighting spirit to run that fast.
Yeah.
Because he was raw dogging it the night before. He won like 100 meters gold, and then he was chilling with the Swedish handball team afterwards. You couldn't write this stuff any better.
That's like your dream.
Yeah. Winning the 100 meters and then chilling with the Swedish handball team.
Specifically the second part.
Okay. I'd like to win the 100 meters though.
It'd be cool.
I'd like to see a white man win the 100 meters.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen, but
being fast at 24 isn't held in the same esteem as it would have been whenever you were like 10 or 11.
True. Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool.
Hey, I yearn for the simpler days where you knew your social standing by your time in sports day.
Yeah. That was
If
the
you were
food
pastry,
chain.
You got, and I hate to use this phrase, but the pick of the snatch at school.
You did?
It was just the case. And I wasn't particularly quick, but I was okay with that. And if you're a fat nerd, then you can just get with the other fat nerdy girls.
Yeah.
You have to get someone who's roughly as good at the sort of 100 meters as you are back at school. That was the pecking order, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Anyway, three shags per person per day, but I know some athletes, and they like to go at it like rabbits.
Yeah.
I had a mate who was in the GB judo setup
Right.
at university, and this guy is the biggest shagger statistically, like raw numbers. This guy's like when Messi scored 92 goals in a year. I've never seen anything like it, and he's 5'3".
Fuck, he's punching well above his weight.
It's crazy, man.
Is he fast?
No, but he is ripped, as you would imagine, with the judo.
Yeah.
And I know he's not bullshitting about this, because I literally had to hear it through the wall of my first year flat that we shared.
Yeah.
Every night.
Was that the bunk bed flat?
No, that was second year. I moved out. But it goes back to a theory I have where if you're an athlete, you live this life of extreme sort of pressure and anticipation, and it sort of like builds up all this strain inside of you, as well as the huge amount of physical toll you take on your body. So you need that release, otherwise you won't actually be able to cope with the lifestyle. Hence why my theory is he was just ploughing judo girls.
Yeah.
For years.
It makes sense.
He holds the record for the fastest shag I've ever seen at university.
That's not a record you want.
No, like quickest time between moving in and shagging
right,
at university.
Okay. Well,
30 minutes.
That is fucking impressive.
This guy hadn't even unpacked his room yet. And we were all sitting in the kitchen, like getting to know each other first day.
Yeah.
Again. And then this random girl, like, I thought she was like living in our flat.
You probably met her before him.
Almost. And they both go into his room. And then a while later, he comes back into the kitchen, sweaty as fuck.
No shame about it at all.
She's not there anymore. I was like, maybe are you shagging in there? And he goes, no. I go, and he's so sweaty. He's like, drenched. I was like, mate, you're sweaty. And where's the girl? And he was like, oh, no, I had a shower. That's why I'm wet.
Yeah. Unless he was just doing a bit of judo training.
Or just a body slapping this guy.
Yeah. He said he was into judo girls. They could have just been fucking wrestling it out in the room.
Yeah, crazy. Anyway, so that makes me like I believe that they could actually get through 300,000.
Yeah.
But if they don't, condoms are expensive, man. Can I have some? Because there's going to be some left over, surely.
The Paralympics is right around the corner as well, so there'll be plenty left over for it. Like, it's like the next month, I think. Unless they bought it in bulk, knowing that they've got a couple of things going on.
Oh,
in
do you
Paris.
think this is for both? That
Maybe.
might make sense.
Yeah.
Because the numbers are actually insane. Like 3 shags per person per day is a lot. Especially when you've got to sort of... Well, I guess if you're doing archery, it's not a lot, because that's easy. It's just the same thing every time.
They're also not taking into account here something that we've missed. All the like sort of like the what's the word for it? You know, like tournament based competitions like football.
Yeah.
Some teams will be out first week.
True.
So
of
first couple of
people are
days, yeah. So even
some of the events are just on the first day, and then
they're
off.
fucking off.
Yeah.
I think as well though, like if you're a single man that's just done like a long day of training, surely you're just opting for a wank. I imagine they've good enough Wi-Fi in the Olympic Village.
Yeah, it depends who you are, I guess. I think that's dangerous if you're a powerlifter.
Yeah,
Just
you need to
just
save that.
The grip, the grip strength, the iron,
Rip it off.
the iron claw. Yeah.
In one of my uni houses, we had like really, really shit Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And my room was sort of like the cutoff point for how far the signal stretched. So I used to have to hotspot my friend in the next room over anytime he wanted to have a wank.
Oh, that is so grim.
That is fucking friendship, though. Like
It's knowing the specific timetable of it that is so horrible.
He had more wanks on like my Vodafone data plan than I did. He would just like knock on the door, and I got to the stage where I knew how timid the knock was, what he was asking. Like it would usually, he'd like if it was normally he'd like come up, there wouldn't be any shame about it, but you get that. Aiden. Yeah. And I got to the stage where I'd just be like, it's already on.
No, that is a great story. So if your room was the cutoff point, was it okay in all bits of your room, or did you occasionally have to sort of do one of those?
It was okay in all bits of my room, but he was struggling.
So, yeah, I don't think we've deviated from that story at all. Michaud also said they want the athletes in Paris to have everything they need in the village. So they built a sports bar, but there won't be any alcohol.
That's fucking pointless, isn't it?
What is that?
Just...
I understand athletes not drinking any alcohol because they spend their entire life training to be at peak human fitness and physical, you know, to break physical records.
Yeah. Then
why did you build them a fucking bar?
Just don't refer to it as a bar.
It's a cock tease.
Yeah, it is.
That's all they're doing. We built you a whole bar, but you can't have anything.
Yeah.
Why
it's
build
like tits on a bull? It's just pointless.
Tits on a bull. Is that a phrase?
It is, yeah.
I've never heard tits on a bull before.
Maybe an Irish one.
Interesting. Because cows don't have tits. I guess they got udders.
No, cows do.
Udders.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
Udders are the teats.
It's just, I'm wondering, are tits on a bull actually useless? Because I think that's quite useful, really. Like, I think boobs on a bloke are not totally useless.
Would you be feeling them yourself?
What, if I just had tits?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I think everybody would.
But would I not kind of be in, like, you wouldn't be able to wear this without a big bust?
Well, how big are we talking? What's my cup size?
I imagine
I was imagining like sort of petite and shapely stuff, like not like big
swingers,
F cup sort of knockers.
Yeah. I imagine the average size tit is big enough to be seen through a shirt blazer combo.
Well, we'll get back to that analysis later. In the meantime, let's move on to the weather. Drizzle kicks coming at you now. Bad news for all my Russians out there. Though in fairness, they're not exactly strangers to bad news at the moment. It's been a tough few years for the average Russian farmer. Floodwaters in 2 cities in the Ural Mountains have risen after Europe's third longest river burst through a dam, flooding 6,000 homes. Federal emergency has been declared in the region of Orenburg, where the governor said this is the worst to hit the region since records began. It's worth mentioning that 3 years ago, all the records were destroyed in a massive flood.
This is Ukraine's chance to really hit them when they're down.
See, I don't know. I don't know how down they actually are, because Putin, right, he's obviously got the ring about this from the minister. And he's gone, no, I'm too busy. Understandably. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. And he sent another bloke, Alexander Korenkov, the emergencies minister, to the region. So I reckon he'll just dispatch him out there. I think Putin's sort of a one-track mind sort of guy. I reckon he's only got one focus, really. I don't think he gives a fuck about this.
Yeah, no fucks given at all.
Also, emergencies minister in Russia, that's a rough gig. That's where they put everybody's least favourite guy in the parliament.
It's not often it's the Russians having to do the fleeing.
No.
It's usually the other way about, lately.
Well, what goes around comes around, I guess. That's mean, though, because obviously the terrible people in Russia are like members of the elite establishment, and this is just some impoverished peasants having their homes ruined. So I do genuinely feel quite sorry for you, but it's incredible how little Putin gives a shit about this. It's like when they send people's least favorite news reporters and they send them to Baghdad to report the thing. It's like, just glad we got him out of the office, to be honest. Let him deal with this. Russian media have cited the Orenburg region authorities as estimating the cost of flood damage locally as around 21 billion rubles. That's about 40 quid. And saying that floodwaters would dissipate only after the 20th of April. It's going to be a while. Still, though, lots of damage. So, it's okay. They're not short of cash. Putin's not short of cash. Have you seen his gaff?
Yeah.
Mental. Good place. It makes Drake's house look like a shack.
Yeah. It looks like our shooting houses, Drake's, next to fucking Putin's number.
Yeah, Drake's looks like a first-year flat. With a bunk bed in it. Compared to Putin's.
Fuck, Drake couldn't handle that bunk bed of yours with what he's packing.
Yeah, to be fair, he's got a spear on him.
Yeah.
And there wasn't much clearance. Me, as a member of the Medium Schlong Association, on that top bunk, there was probably,
Yeah.
the clearance was in inches, let's say that.
He'd be into the fucking attic with his.
Yeah. Have to replaster that ceiling every morning. Be punching new holes through it. Okay. Here's a quote from the mayor of Orenburg. The water is coming, and in the coming days, its level will only rise. So bad news there. Would you like to know the name of the mayor of Orenburg?
I would.
Sergei Salmon. Yep.
Lovely.
That's his name. Sergei Salmon. So he's going to be fine, mate. He's going to be loving life at the moment. He's going to be flopping around like a pig in shit. His natural habitat has worked its way to him. Sergei Salmon. The flood situation remains critical. So there we go. Now, we move on to Gamey Schumer, our game segment. Today, we're going to play Hangman. Yep, we're going to play Hangman. Do you want to pick the word, or shall I pick the word?
You can pick the word.
Yeah, absolutely riveting stuff this week.
Do you get any sort of hint to what the word is? I can't remember.
Well, when you guess letters that are in the word, those are sort of the clues, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how to play this
I
game?
haven't played Hangman since I was about fucking 8.
I'm just wondering how badly I want to fuck you over. Is like, how niche of a word am I going to pick? Is really what I'm thinking here. Okay, right. Yeah, I think you'll like this word. And I think you have a realistic chance of getting this. I've chosen a proper 50-50 here, so I'm scared of you getting this. But anyway, there's my word. Do you want to start us off with a guess?
Just a letter? Or a full word?
What?
I thought I was guessing.
You're going to guess a full word off nothing?
No, but...
Wait, yeah, you guess letters, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you said...
Whenever you said, do you want to start us off, I thought you meant, I thought you were saying to me that I have to choose the full fucking word off nothing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh,
that's a hit first time around. Are you going to have a guess now?
N.
There's no N.
Fucking bastard.
What did you think? Why did you guess N?
It just came to my mind.
So that's the first bit of the structure laid down.
C?
No C. It's unconventional Hangman strategy, I would say. Doing like rogue consonants.
Yeah, I'll go E.
E. There we go.
Throw a violin.
Return to normality, and he's got an E. If someone gets that at home, I'll be really impressed with that.
S. Back to the consonants.
He's starting to cook here. He's starting to cook.
What's the two words I've said? N and C?
Yes.
I'll go...
Don't guess C again.
I'll go... M.
No M.
Bastards.
We're up to structure is complete, and I'm going to start doing the man.
You're going to start hanging the fucker.
Yeah.
Where's E? H.
H. Nice. Good guess.
Do you have an idea, Matt?
I think Matt might have this, but we'll see.
J.
Jay
Just no J.
is a ridiculous guess. The Hangman strategists watching are going to be fuming at Jay.
Is there an I?
Aye, there we go. He's back in business.
I don't want to just go vile. That's boring. Osh.
I think it's gettable from here.
Yeah, probably. Washy. How many more goes do I have? How many bits of the man's left?
5.
5. Right.
I don't think there's any way you lose it from here.
Yeah.
Unless you just want to guess an X for a laugh.
Throw in a Y or a Z. I don't feel like there's a U in it. T.
T.
Yeah. D.
No D.
Okay, well then, I thought it was maybe...
It's dog shite.
G. Yes.
It's starting to unravel the
I knew it was either dog shite or gob shite.
Yeah,
But I was like, would Rufus write gob shite?
had to be one of the two.
B.
I thought you might not get that because you thought that wouldn't be a word.
Is that in the dictionary?
I don't know.
I use that word.
Yeah, but I say a lot of things which aren't in the dictionary.
Yeah, that is true. So, cinnamon time?
Oh yeah. I forgot about cinnamon time. I hate cinnamon time, man.
Are you lubed up?
I never want you to say that to me ever again. No, I'm not lubed up.
And it has to be more than you done the last time.
No, it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Okay, right, here we go. That's a proper.
That is a fucking mouthful.
That's basically landscaping with that amount. Right. I'm going to need way more water than that. Thing is, it's just will ruin my day. I'm gonna be tasting it for hours afterwards. Right. Don't breathe in. Don't breathe in.
He solved it. Go for a gulp.
I won. I figured out the cinnamon challenge.
How did talk us through it? Talk us through your strategy.
It's easy. Just don't open your mouth.
All I can see is cinnamon in between each of your teeth.
Well, I'm amazed that worked.
That is impressive.
It was so easy. I've been struggling with that for years. I can't believe I've just figured that out.
You'll play it every week now?
I'll do it for fun. I'll do it again. I'll have another bit. I don't give. Cinnamon challenge solved it, mate. Delicious. Wow. I feel like I've just overcome a
Cancer?
serious setback
Oh yeah, or cinnamon challenge.
and succeeded despite the odds. Like an underdog story.
You should write a paper on this.
That's incredible. That is so easy now. I could genuinely just have that whole tub, I reckon. No, not the don't. Put the salt back. Put the salt back. The cinnamon challenge is solved.
Yeah. It's not really much of a challenge now for you.
No. I'm bamboozled by that. I can't believe the things that happen on this show. Ever since that fire alarm, I've stopped trusting everything. I think you've replaced that with some dummy cinnamon to kind of psych me out, make me feel like I've just achieved
Conquered the
something.
world.
Yeah, I feel on top of the world. It's like I'm losing my virginity. I genuinely can't believe that was fine.
2 mouthfuls as well, back to back.
Yeah, it was just like losing my virginity. Right, let's move on to our next segment then. And guess who it is? None other than my Gran has written into the show again. Gran, I hope you're watching. I'm still enjoying your tie very much. She's written in to say, glad you managed to figure out the ties. They looked very odd to me, but were exactly to pattern. I'll read the itchiness. You know how we were saying they're hot and sweaty? My childhood was a nightmare. My Gran used to knit us vests when I was small, hell on earth. My brother's school uniform was a tweed suit, which, as well as being itchy, had to be dry cleaned if it was going to be washed. This happened only at half term and end of term. So you can imagine the state of that.
Yeah.
Hot, itchy tweed suit getting cleaned twice a term.
That is brutal.
It's horrendous. My mum used to hang them outside to air, but not being the most organised of mothers, she used to forget to bring them in, so they were often wet if it was summer or frozen in winter.
Imagine going to school in a fucking frozen uniform.
Oh, that's absolutely grim. Just sopping wet. Itchy as mine. A few years ago, I knitted some prosthetic clothes for cancer patients and were specifically told to use cotton yarn, not wool, because it's so bad.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want if you have cancer, is an itchy jumper. That is the cherry. That really is the cherry on top. Like,
you could deal with the cancer, but the itchy jumper and the cancer on top of that's a bit too much.
Actually, my brother's school, to which he wore that uniform, St Benedict's, which is in West London, was a grim place altogether, as can be seen from its Wikipedia article. I did some research on this. She's undersold this a little bit. So it was a Roman Catholic school, so we know what's coming.
Yeah.
Senior figures were perpetrators of abuse over a 30-year period. Since 2003, 4 members of staff have been convicted, and there was a culture of excessive corporal punishment. So there were often lines of students waiting outside the headmaster's office at the end of the day to get caned.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
You can't take us anywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely rough. Yeah. So, people who think the world was really better before are just fucking morons. Yeah.
You always see...
Imagine if that's what your school was like.
I know. Yeah, it's especially something you see a lot with women on social media, where like, oh, I was born in the wrong generation, or I would have loved to have lived in like the 50s, 60s. You really fucking wouldn't have. Not at all.
You know who does it a lot, which I get really annoyed by, is like music nerds people.
Yeah.
And they're like all the old music was better before. Well, newsflash, fucker, you can still listen to it, and we have more music.
Yeah, and also those same people, if they were put in the 80s, they'd be the same pretentious prick to be like, oh, I miss the 50s.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to be happy. The grass is always greener.
Yeah,
and you can listen to niche 1970s prog anyway. Yeah. So you weren't born in the wrong generation. Actually, you were born in a great generation, because now you can listen to all music for free online.
Yeah, can you imagine the days before Shazam?
Yeah.
You hear a song and you don't know it there and then. You spend the rest of your life thinking, what the fuck was that?
Well, back when my parents were buying records and stuff, when they were teenagers, you literally went out and bought the record, and then you had to listen to that one tune.
Yeah. Yeah, like a 7-inch single, like vinyl record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to listen to one tune. It's like having a playlist with one song on it. If you had one of those, people would be like, you're
what
mental,
the fuck's
mate.
going on, yeah.
Yeah. Absolute insanity. Anyway, along those lines, I've reached out to my audience in our questionable segment to where we put it to you guys, and I asked, what was your worst school experience? I don't think we're going to have anything quite as bad as that, but there was some rough stuff. Let's get into it. Someone told my teacher that I dabbed on a German mass grave on the history trip, and I had to have a meeting about it. Thing is, there's nothing in this confession that says whether I did it or not, so I'm suspecting you probably did.
Yeah, you didn't deny it.
You didn't deny it. You just said someone told about it. Also, dabbing on a German mass grave. It's a niche activity. That is the sort of thing that when dabbing was huge in sort of 26. I'm the prime age
for dabbing.
Yeah. Everybody was dabbing.
I hated it from day one. I wasn't as big into the dabbing as you might have been.
I went to kind of cringe school anyway, though, so we were dabbing.
What?
It was like the flossing kid, I be flossing, but I was dabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I could see like someone doing this. It makes sense.
It is believable.
It's believable, yeah. Next story. I got caught rubbing one out in the toilet during an English mock. That's
definitely happened. That's very believable.
I've never tugged one in the exam though.
Oh wait,
in the mock.
I thought he went for like a toilet break.
Oh no, that's a classic. Yeah, I think everybody's done that.
So he's just in the middle of the exam.
Exam.
Yeah, nah.
Firstly, congratulations on being that good at English.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of free time at the exam, this guy. Just have a tuggy. But I don't know, I feel like my mind's not in the right place to go for a toilet break during an exam and immediately tug one off.
Even like my religion GCSE, I knew fuck all about it. Like I never went to the classes. So for the first like 4 pages, I just wrote down Jesus Christ. Because I was like, he probably had something to do with it. So I was hoping maybe
to get a mark.
Yeah. But then I got to the stage where I was like, there's no point in this. So I just accepted that I was going to get like a fucking U. So I just went for a nap. Not at one point during that, whenever I realised I had a lot of free time, did I think maybe a wank. So it is very fucking rogue as well from this fella.
It's insanely rogue. And getting caught. It's a real perfect storm for this guy. And you know that's a horrible situation because whoever's catching him, like the invigilator, is thinking, oh, this guy's cheating. This guy's looking shit up in the toilets.
Just wanking.
The investigators just tugging one off.
The invigilator would be wishing he was just cheating.
Exactly. My history teacher was into animals and got caught with it on his laptop. Bloke got fired. I'm glad that he's just into animals. Like I'm really happy with that outcome. I know it's not brilliant, but I'd rather that than alternatives.
Yeah.
I'm happy. It's just sort of horses and stuff.
Did you used to have like motor vehicle studies over here?
No.
It was like basically it was a subject in our school that all the people that weren't really in the right capacity to be doing proper subjects were taught how to ride a moped. Taught how to like ride a moped.
No, that's not real.
I swear to God, any like Irish people watching it might be a thing in your school.
So but they let the stupid people
and like
ride
very fucking low powered moped. You would look out the window where I had like home economics, you'd just see people driving up and down the tennis courts in a moped. But
really?
Yeah, the teacher at our school, he was also my history teacher, but he took on motor vehicle studies.
Yeah.
He lost his license for drink driving, and he still was teaching motor vehicle studies.
That's incredible. That's.
Yeah. They done other things, but that was a big part of it. That fucking moped.
Surely
test.
you're getting bantered for that if you're.
You were big time, like.
That's incredible. Okay, this one comes in from someone I actually personally know, so I know the person who did this.
Yeah.
I was in an online French class during the pandemic in 2020, and at the same time I was on a Discord call with my mate. Without realising, I was unmuted in Teams and proceeded to tell my friend on Discord that I, quote, I want to shove my tiny clock in Elsa's fat vagina. Elsa is a girl in the class.
I thought it was on about from Frozen.
From Frozen, no.
I was like, that's far worse.
The whole class heard, and there was an awkward Zoom call with my mum and form tutor the next morning. I know his mum. I know exactly who this had happened to.
That is rough.
Also, the quote is pretty rough because not only have you called your own cock tiny,
he's outed himself.
Yeah. Also, I'm really uncomfortable with the phrase "fat vagina" as well. I don't like it at all. It's even just getting your mouth around the words is quite horrible.
Oh yeah, it feels even dirtier than the word on its own.
Yeah, it is. Is that a good thing?
If it's like plump, I don't know.
Like, where's he going with that? I don't know. What does he mean? What are you talking about?
You have the means to figure this out. You know this.
I do know him. Yeah.
We'll ring him up after the pod.
I'll ring him up after. Should be good. Next story. Breaking my foot playing football. Went to the nurse and was sent back to class with an ice pack and told to walk it off.
That's how it fucking went. That's whenever I had like a PE cover class. So basically, if there was someone covering it, they would just let you do whatever the fuck you want. So me and my friend Niall found one pair of boxing gloves. So he had like the right hand one, I had the left hand one.
Yeah.
And we were just kicking the shit out of each other with it.
Right.
And we were blocking with the other hand. I put my hand up to block one of his punches and he punched me right in the finger. Broke into shit.
Yeah.
And I went to the nurse and I was like, here, I might need to go and get this looked about. Not even ice pack, a fucking wet paper towel. You know those blue paper towels? I was sat in like the next classes because I was ready. I also knew that it was like period 8 in the day. If I rang my ma to come and lift me whenever I was an hour away from getting home, she would have kicked the fuck out of me. So I was just sat there.
She would have broken your arm.
But I was in the class with, our school also didn't have a nurse. It was just someone that had a slight bit of first aid training. Yeah. And I lifted the blue paper towel off and it looked like there was a golf ball inside my hand. It wasn't until then they're like, yeah, maybe you should go and get looked about. I was fucking fuming.
That's funny because obviously my school being where I went to school had like a full, almost hospital
Oh,
room.
really?
Yeah. And once, and this was a bit of a sexual awakening for me as well. We were playing baseball.
Yeah.
And I was doing batting practice against the wall. And I perfectly smacked the ball straight off the wall and into my own nuts. Yeah. And then went straight to the nurses. It went a bit blue,
Yeah.
definitely, but the nurse sort of had to have a look and a feel. And I was only like 13.
Get in.
I was only like 13.
Yeah.
So that's action. If
Yeah,
you're
you're
13, that's crazy.
You're definitely the next period talking to all your friends about that. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Nursery Pinder having a go on the old hog and oranges. That's it, mate.
you would definitely put a bit of hair in that story as well. You'd be like, oh, I think she liked it. Like, she was into it. She was looking at me a certain way
Oh, yeah.
at that age.
It's still a memorable experience for me. And I fortunately survived.
Yeah. One of the boys in my class, he found like a lump on one of his testicles. And I swear that
And it wasn't like his ball.
it was on his ball.
Okay.
It wasn't just his ball. But he discovered this as he went to take a piss the first thing that morning. And by the end of the day, we had all discussed what we wanted if he was to die. Like, we just straight away, I was like, right, it's cancer.
Yeah.
And the rest of the day, he was talking about like, right, obviously it's going to be sad and all. He fully thought he was dying. But at least in his eyes, some nurse is going to have to, take a look and give me a feel.
Trade off.
He went to the doctors that evening, and it was his uncle that like worked in the same hospital that ended up getting him. So he was like building himself up for some like nurse to come in and give him a wee fondle. It was his fucking uncle's hairy hands that felt him up.
That's so bad. Really, get the phrase "getting touched by your uncle" in any circumstance is always bad. Always bad news. So I hope you've recovered from that. You're not limping too much anymore. In year 7 music, we had to get into groups and come up with a piece of music. Now, me being the absolute musical maverick I was at the tender age of 12, I decided to ask the teacher, "Miss, can I beatbox?" Never having beatboxed a day in my life and not knowing if I'd be able to do it. She says yes, of course. We go away and rehearse. 45 minutes later, we re-emerge. This is my chance to gain traction with the cool kids.
By beatboxing?
Just the way you set up this plan tells me how much of a massive neek you were at school. Yeah. If you're trying engineering a situation in which you're beatboxing to impress some kids. Yeah, sorry, it's not looking great. I proceed to lay down 2 minutes of the most soul-destroying shame I have ever produced. I cried in the classroom as soon as we finished. It was 9 years ago and people still talk about it.
That is a hard one to come back from, that.
Do you want to have a go at beatboxing?
I think
Because I feel like it's not that hard.
Can you do it?
Right. That's all right.
It sounded like you were choking. Can you get like a hum in the background, like a?
It's all right.
It could be worse. I'm thinking
you
like
have a go.
Oh, that just hurt.
Nice.
I felt like I was going somewhere though. Can you
sound like the beginning of a beat there?
Can you rap over it?
Okay, right. I'll do.
Right.
I'll just move Yeah. Okay. What? I ain't Cheerios, but I'm not in your honey. You got bread, but it's monopoly money. Yeah. Something. Feeling kind of funny.
The amount of saliva that leaves your mouth whenever you start beatboxing is worrying.
You're a motherfucking worm. No gummy. Hard stuff.
Hard
there.
bar to end with.
Pretty hard bar.
How would you review that, Matt? Nice one.
I'll take that.
There's a good bass there.
So I think we smashed beatboxing there, and
I
that's
hurt my throat.
It's a you problem. Next up, pinned down by all my mates during lunchtime footy, stripped and had a rocket lolly shoved up my arse. Jesus Christ.
You were just assaulted.
That's crime. Also, like, are they your mates?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you like to fuck your mates over a bit. I'm not shoving a fruit pastels up their arse.
You like to fuck them over without fucking them.
Yeah.
This is just once it gets to the stage where you're penetrating them with anything.
Yeah.
You've went a bit too far.
Also, rocket lolly, not the one that I would want.
Imagine getting like frostbite in your fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That is like the ice lolly you're talking about, yeah?
The rocket lolly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice lolly, yeah.
Fuck that.
I think if I had to have any of the lollies that are freely available on selection, I go for a Fruit Pastels lolly.
Yeah.
Because at least it's
The one
it doesn't get any wider.
Yeah.
Once you've got through the first bit, it's plain sailing from there.
Yeah, that's the end of the challenge.
Yeah.
It's always the same fucking group of people that gets up to this shit in school.
Yeah.
Like in my school, it was like the football lads who, like, I got on with some of them, but then I remember one sports day, they were like running around chasing each other, trying to give each other hickeys.
That's
And I
so
was
weird.
like, I don't think I want to be a part of this social group. Like,
No.
I'll happily take my fucking in-betweener status if this is what yous are up to.
It's right, yeah. It's like rugby boys. Like, a lot of girls are into that.
Yeah.
But I'm not touching a drop of urine in my life.
Yeah.
So, haven't.
Rugby wasn't big where I'm from, so I don't know the fucking half of what you probably went through or what you've heard.
Yeah.
But-
It's mostly through friends. It's
Yeah.
not. That's not for me. I'm not drinking any piss.
Yeah.
I'm surprised like no rugby boys have ever drowned in a bukkake, to be honest. Given the sort of thing they get up to. Next up, you're gonna like this one. Probably my worst experience is I can't even get through it. I laughed out loud on the train so hard reading this. Probably my worst experience is grabbing our fat PE teacher's balls in rugby, thinking it was the ball.
Fucking hell. I would like to know.
Imagine this like magnificent, like descending pendulous, huge ball. How are you mixing that up with a rugby ball?
Yeah, not even in a remotely similar shape. I'd love to know the PE teacher's reaction.
Probably loved it. The pond had frozen over on a cold winter's day. The school cafe had free sausages going at the end of lunchtime. Me and my mates obviously pounced on this opportunity, decided to play what I can only describe as a game of bowls, who can skid their sausage closest to the middle of the pond. Anyway, the seagulls also jumped on this opportunity. About 3 of them started swallowing these rock-hard cold sausages whole. They obviously flew up, choked on them, and dropped straight back down out of the sky.
This lad's about to get recruited by that torture king fella we spoke about earlier.
Exactly, he's a mastermind, mate. The headmaster came along to clear them up by shoving the limp, dead seagulls in the bin. That's crazy.
That is mental.
That's an unbelievable
Just like
story.
folding down the wings.
That is crazy. We had a serial sink pooper. This is an all-girls secondary school, and almost every day there was a relatively substantial turd deposited in one of the bathroom sinks. Still to this day, no one seems to know who it was.
Very surprising that this was an all-girls school. Straight away I was like, I could see this happening with a group of lads, but
Yeah.
that is mental.
I am highly suspicious of the person who sent this in.
Yeah.
I think if you're telling the story, it's probably you.
Might be,
So that's the way you get it off your back. You convey the story, and then
but also maybe the thrill has kind of gone since you've left school, so you want to put it back into sort of rotation so more people are talking
Yeah.
about it. Do you know
Does
what I mean?
make sense.
Yeah.
It's good psychological analysis there. I've actually got one more story, and this happened to a friend of mine who went on a field trip, and there's always carnage that happens on the field trip. And this guy, right? So they stole, while he was in the shower, they stole his clothes. And then in order to give them back, they made him shove his finger up his own arse. In front of everyone.
That's a rough one there. Because you want to get your clothes back. Like, it's... I would not want to be in that position. What do? Do you just stand there and be like, nope, while still remaining to be naked?
I don't know, but he did it.
He done it. Were you there for this?
Sorry?
Were you there for this?
It wasn't at my school.
Oh, right, fuck me.
It's in
that
the
is
UK.
brutal.
But that's pretty rough. And also there was a video.
That is awful.
It is so
I
right.
feel for him being put in that position in the first place, to be honest.
And this is where we would usually come to the musical Serenade. But unfortunately, for copyright purposes, we can't put it in with our regular shows anymore. However, it will be uploaded at the same time as the main show every week. So we'll still have a song, and you can still listen to it and enjoy it just in a separate clip. But for now, that's the end of our show. I hope you enjoyed listening, and peace out. That is what we normally say at the end of these. Peace out. So peace and love, and back to you in the studio.